here at the Midwest LSA Expo. We're getting a chance to talk about a really interesting thing, a new engine. And it's actually not a new engine. We were here and visited with you last year, and when we saw it last year, it was kind of new to me. This engine has things like FADEC in it, which is different in the LSA space. But now we've got even more stuff that's different. So give us an introduction and your company, and we'll come back to the web address, but introduce a little bit about who you are and what you're doing, and then let's talk a little bit about some of those variations I just heard you telling someone else about.
Okay, great. My name is Robert Helms. I'm the general manager of UL Power North America. We started in North America about 1.5 years ago, and the company UL Power Aero Engines is based in Belgium. The guys that actually designed and built the engine, they've been building race engines since the early 70s, and in the early 2000s, about 2002, they were approached by a helicopter company, and that's when they built their first airplane engine, and then they actually created the company in 2006. So they've actually been building the engines for quite a while, but they kept the distribution in Europe up until about 1.5 years ago.
Okay, so now you're the representative for U.S. or North America? Or?
Yeah, United States and Canada.
Okay, so both. So you've got a lot of variations in the theme. Last year when we spoke, Robert, you mentioned 4 power output levels. I just heard you tell somebody else sounded like maybe 10 now.
Yeah,
what is the range of possibilities for the UL Power engine today?
Well, basically what it is, they're all direct drive, they're all air-cooled, they're all fuel injection, dual ignition, and FADEC. And so basically what they've done is they've taken the same basic design, and they've got a narrow 4-cylinder and a wide 4-cylinder, and all the differences in the stroke. The wide 4-cylinder is about 4 inches wider. So we have a 260, which is 2.6 liter, the 350, which is 3.5 liter. And so the difference there is in the stroke, and then for each of those we have different compression, low and high compression. So now we have a narrow 6 and a wide 6, and each is in low and high compression, so as a result we have 8 engines. And then we have a couple of unique ones that are like a helicopter engine that is unique, so that's 9. And then we have one that's for the French market only, so we do have 10 engines.
Oh, I heard better than I thought there, so good. Okay, so give me the numbers of the levels of power that you've got. 4 and 6, I understand that. A little bit like what we know from the Jabiru company. They have a 4 and a 6 cylinder, so you're kind of like that in a sense. What are the power outputs from each of those?
We're basically at the 2.6 liter. The 260i is at 97 horsepower. It's the low compression. The 260IS is 107. So then we go to 3.5 liter low and high is 118, 130.
Okay.
And then the first.
Now that's what we had up until last
Correct.
year. Okay. Now how have you gone further?
So now we took that, added 2 more cylinders. We have the narrow 6 low and high compression at 140 and 160 horsepower.
160 now. Okay.
And then the wide 6 at 180 and 196 horsepower.
So you're up to 196 horsepower. Now, I got to ask you, we just watched the folks in their very lovely carbon Cubs and their 180 horsepower engine climbing out of here like crazy, and that does really get people's attention. That's only 180 horsepower. You've got even more. Is there anybody interested in using one of the big engines?
Well, there's a couple people, some guys on their own that are doing it, the 196 horsepower. One guy's looking at modifying a Quickie and putting 196 horsepower on it, and he expects to cruise at 290 miles an hour in a Quickie. And then there's the other end of the spectrum, still in the light sport category, some of the 2-seat Stoll guys are looking at 180 horsepower. So they're already taking off in 50 feet with 100 horsepower,
right.
And they want to put 180 horsepower. The weight of our 180 horsepower is about the same weight as the Lycoming 118 horsepower installed. And so you're getting a lot more power.
Say that again. Repeat that again now.
So we have 180 and 196 horsepower. Right. Is the same weight as the 118 horsepower Lycoming.
The same weight as 118 horsepower Lycoming, your 180 and your 195,
196, correct.
Is that right? Now that's a pretty remarkable fact there. That's a lot of extra power. It makes me wonder, does that mean the engine's working too hard to do that?
Well, basically what it is the guys that design the engine, the UL Power Aero engines consist really of 2 sets of guys. One are the engine guys, the other are the metal guys. And so it's all CAD CAM, and they're using all new technology. So the material is very lightweight, plus because the heads are all machined in different components, they're able to make them really lightweight. And we've got incredibly low CHTs just because we have more fin surface area. And then the technology, they're using oil to cool the valves and things like that. And so they're able to get a lot of power for less weight.
Wow, pretty remarkable. And all of these are still using the FADEC capability?
Yeah, they're all the same basic design. They all interchange components, multi-point fuel injection, dual electronic ignition, and full FADEC. So in the cockpit, all you have is the throttle. There's no mixture, no primer, no choke, no carburetor heat. the computer's constantly controlling the mixture and the timing.
Now, we've heard from our friends at Rotax, which do a wonderful job. They sell a lot of airplane engines in this sector. They've added fuel injection now. They're using computer control capabilities on their engine. You've actually been working in that environment for some time already, but today this is not an ASTM certified
Correct.
engine. Is that correct?
Correct. We have a dual ECU option. It's about $3,000 more, and arguably with that we meet the ASTM standard.
I see, okay.
But we haven't self-certified saying that we've done all the testing and everything. We probably could, but
Is
we
there,
just
is there
haven't.
going to be a move toward that, do you think? I mean, you may
If-
be doing pretty well with the kit market. We'll come
Yeah,
back to that in a second.
the kit
but-
market so far has been sufficient at the experimental market.
Okay.
And with the third class medical issue, we don't know what's going to happen, and so we're poised to do ASTM if we want to, if we need to, but we don't know if the market is there.
Okay. Well, very interesting. There's a lot more to be had about this engine and it's the information about it. And we think we know of one company that might be trying to use this, but we won't blow their cover just yet. But a very interesting airplane people saw at Oshkosh. With some unusual takeoff and landing capabilities. Let's tempt them a little bit here and see if they'll come up and be honest about it, or be factual about it at some point. But it sounds like that's a lot of capability for people in the kit market, and you're on a kit airplane here right now. That's the experimental aircraft market. You can't sell into the ELSA crowd yet because it's got to go on a SLSA first, and that means ASTM approval. But you can sell in the kit market, and that's a big and thriving market in America. So you're finding enough business right now?
Oh yeah, the sales, we started about a year and a half ago, just before Sun and Fun, and the volume is picking up. It took a little while to get started, but
Sure.
as the volume picks up, the numbers are growing. And Zenith, as an example, did their own firewall forward kit. This is their cowl that they supply with the firewall forward kit and the mount. And so probably half of our sales today are going to Zenith customers. They've got the firewall forward kit for all of their airplanes. Kitfox is working on a firewall forward kit. Just Aircraft is working on a firewall forward kit. So different manufacturers. What I do if I get a call, somebody really wants UL Power in their plane, if there's no firewall forward kit, I'll call the manufacturer, see if they want to do it.
Okay.
If they don't do it, then I help them out somehow.
Okay. Now it looks to me like you got one little problem here, though. You talked about the engine mount that they made and stuff, and there's a whole lot of empty space down here where I'm waving my hand around. There's nothing there. This engine's so far forward. It looked like you just didn't make this thing heavy enough. If it was heavier, it could be back further, right?
Well, we got room here for 2 more cylinders. Since we're back here, we've got a new improvement. We've had a single 30 amp alternator. We have a 50 amp alternator as an option, and we have a new dual 30 amp alternator. There's actually be 2 15 amp alternators and a dual 25 amps, so we'll have 50 amps in 2 alternators. So if one fails, you still have the other as a backup.
Well, if you're a kit builder, it seems to me you got to take a look at UL Power. They may be new guys in the business, but they've got a history with the racing equipment that goes back quite a while, as you told us last year when we were here and visited about this. So where can we go to find out more about UL Power?
Well, the manufacturer's website is ulpower.com, and we are ulpower.net in North America. And then if you just search in Google, it'll come up, or if you search in Facebook, we have a Facebook page also, and we put all of our current projects and new people flying. We announce it on Facebook. It's a lot of fun to kind of build up some interest in the community. We've got an exciting one coming up. I'm poised to deliver 2 engines, 130 horsepower each, to an AirCam operator. He's pulling off his
All right.
Rotax, so he's going to have 260 horsepower in an AirCam.
Holy cow, I've seen 230 on it. It was amazing with that. And at 260, it'll be mighty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for speaking with us today, Robert Helm of UL Power, ulpower.net in North America, where he's the representative. I've got information about this and earlier videos about it on bydanjohnson.com or bydanjohnson.com. Thanks so much for watching today.